Good morning. This is the Veterans in Politics International. Take two. Good morning. This is the Veterans in Politics International endorsement interviews for Sunday, April 6, 2014. I'm Richard Scotti, and I will be your moderator for today's event. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag is behind us. Right. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing, and Andre Haynes will lead us in an invocation. Thank you, sir.
Please bow with me. Dear God, thank you for life today. Thank you for strength. Thank you for the opportunity to be at such a wonderful event. Thank you for democracy, and thank you for living in the best country in the world. Guide us today, give us wisdom, insight, help us to be fair and open-minded, and to seek the truth to make the best decision. Amen.
Thank you. Good morning. You may be seated. Good morning, panel members, and good morning, candidate, Mr. Let's introduce yourself.
Louis Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. I'm just going to introduce the panel members. We have Melissa Broadway. We have a political consultant. We have Wayne Klesmer, U.S. Navy. We have Jeff Holt. We have with U.S. Marines. We have Mike Angel, founder of Nevada Legal Forms and Tax Services. We have Buddy Charles from the U.S. Army. We have Pamela Kington, marketing executive, and we have Zachary Pearson with the U.S. Navy. Welcome to all of you. Our sponsors for today's event are Rhythm Kitchen Restaurant, Real Water, and Rhonda Gibson. I will now read the rules that will pertain to the interview process today. The guidelines are as follows. A strict schedule will be adhered to without exception. This is an interview, not a debate. No redirect questions, please. Candidates are allowed a 1.5-minute introduction. Panelists are given 30 seconds to pose a question. Candidates have 1 minute to respond. If time allows, audience members will be invited to pose a question, and/or the panel may ask more questions. This is not a forum to air personal grievances. Complex questions that require too lengthy an answer will be disqualified. Panelists will pose their questions to one candidate or all candidates, but only if a yes or no answer can be given. Those are the guidelines for today's event, and I think we can proceed. So, Melissa Broadway, would you like to begin us today with the questions?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Baker. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought it was an introduction, but
Oh, yeah, introduction, yeah.
Why don't you begin by introducing yourself? Take 1.5 minutes and tell us about yourself. Thank you, sir.
okay. My name is Louis Baker, and I'm running for State Senate District 2 against Mo Dennis. I'm running for a number of reasons. The biggest one is the lack of progress that we have not had here in the last 8 to 10 years because of the recession, because of other things, but primarily because some of the politicians just refuse to recognize the problems and how to address them. And what I bring is solutions to difficult questions. So with that, I would like to add that my family, my son is a construction project administrator for the city of Las Vegas. I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. My 3 grandchildren, or my son's 3 grandchildren are girls and daughters, and I'm very happy and proud with them because they won scholarships to the University of Reno, University of Alabama, and so I'm very happy with that. And my youngest granddaughter, who's only 9 years old, started reading the liturgy at age 5 in the church. At 9, she's been in about 7 plays this year. She's done remarkable. Of course, I have a self-vested interest in her. but she has a remarkable memory, and sometimes I ask her questions and she's got the answers. So I'm very happy with that. I was not born here, but I spent most of my life here. I went to Las Vegas High School. I've been here since about 1950, about the same time that Oscar Goodman got here. We were both from Philadelphia. He went to the top, and I'm floundering around at the bottom. But in that, I have a couple of U.S. patents. I'm a general contractor. I'm a solar contractor. I'm an auctioneer. I've been involved in the automobile industry for some time, and I spent about 25 years in the casino business. And one time I was probably in the top 5 knowledgeable people with the casino industry. I am very proud of the fact that I started one of the first Indian casinos in the United States in Tacoma, Washington. And I have risen from being a shill in the business to being a general manager. And of course, it didn't happen overnight, over a period of 25 years. So I'm very versed in that. As a result of that, I'm able to offer something that no one else can offer, because I'm the creator of a system that can bring millions of dollars into the state for education.
And that is a good
purposes, things of that
introduction.
nature.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Well, let's begin our questioning with Melissa Broadway. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Mr. Baker, I know that water is a major part of your platform, and specifically in regards to the water shortage that will be coming up in Las Vegas. And I wondered if you could just educate us a little bit about your platform of water and some of the solutions that you can come from that.
Good question, Melissa. The truth of the matter is I do have the answer. And that's one of the reasons that I'm running, because of the lack of diligence on the part of some of the politicians, namely my opponent, who has ignored this. And I'm going to be very brief about this, but you can find it on my website at asbenow.com, asbenow.com. That stands for America's Sunlight Boat Expressway, and if you go there, you'll find a lot of information. Some of it is proprietary information, and you won't see it. But we take care of the water problem running from north to south, and the way we do that is much different than what has been proposed. And by the way, the system we have proposed has been given the smell. We passed the smell test of the Las Vegas Water Authority, but because of other political people who really don't want to see these things taking place, and I'm specifically speaking about Mo Dennis and Harry Reid. I'm not the Desert Express, we're America's Sunlight Boat Expressway, high-speed transportation system, along with a collection of water, natural gas. And to address specifically the water, what we do is we basically collect the water from northern Nevada at the mountaintop area, where around Lake Tahoe and so forth. We collect that water, bring it south, gravity flow, to Las Vegas, storing it in basins for summertime use. There's 5 ways that we collect water. I won't go into it now. You can find out more about it on the website, but it is one of the key issues that we face here in Nevada.
Thank you, sir. I don't think we're going to have a problem with time today, but to try to help you out, when we get down to 10 seconds left, I'll raise my hand, and then I'll just say thank you when you reach your...
Okay, can I speak for the opponent?
Well, I don't think so, but this will work. Well, why don't we go to Wayne Klesper? Why don't you please ask your question, sir?
To expound more on the water issue, do you plan on trying to find new sources of water with wells underneath?
No, we have plenty of water. What our system does is it collects 60% more of any rainfall, snowpack, or any other system that's ever been proposed. And it does that because we collect that water at the initiation. In other words, when it rains, we get that water. When it snows, or we have snowpack, we get that water. If it's coming down the culverts, and there's thousands of them along the way, we collect that water and we bring it down. In doing that, we correct hydroelectric power till when we get it down to the basin, and from the basin we store it, and from the basin again we collect hydroelectric from that power. We bring it down to the water district, which will have to be moved because obviously northern Nevada is on the wrong side of Las Vegas at the moment, and I'm talking about the water district. We send it to the water district first. The highest use of electricity in southern Nevada is the distribution of water. That includes all of the hotels and casinos and every other commercial venture here in the state. The highest use of electricity is, again, the distribution of water. What ASB does is it curtails that. It eliminates probably 50 to 60% of that by the fact that we're creating our own electricity and by the fact that we're getting
Thank you.
that water before it goes to the lake.
A minute sure does go by fast, doesn't it? Well, we'll see if they ask any follow-up. Mr. Holt, your turn.
What I'm wondering is, in getting the water out of northern Nevada or up in Tahoe, like that, will it create jobs and help bring, more down to the Las Vegas area as well?
Oh, okay, well, first of all, you gotta remember we're collecting 60% more water. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we have created watersheds along the way, so that the animals, whether it be livestock and or wildlife, are not endangered because those watersheds are about every 5 miles apart.
Very good. Mr. Angel, you're up.
My question is more in relation to the gross margin tax that the teacher.
You're not on.
I have a question about.
Please.
He's not on.
Still not.
Hello? The teachers union proposal for a gross margins tax on businesses of grossing $1 million or more. What's your statement and why?
I'm sorry, I did not understand the question.
The teachers unions are trying to gather enough votes to put place on a ballot for a gross margins tax.
Did you say tax?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, I signed the pledge of no new taxes last night over at Stoney's where First Friday was taking place, and that pledge basically says there will be no tax. And the reason I don't believe in taxes is because otherwise there are other ways to create income that we have not addressed, and because of that, I offer solutions to difficult problems, and I will not ever vote for new taxes or fees. Now, if I didn't answer your question, tell me again, Mike.
No, tax position is fine.
I think that was good. Why don't we move on to Mr. Charles? You're up.
I have one question. What is your knowledge of the plight of the senior age Vietnam veterans that are not being serviced by the administration on their claims for additional disability? They're running 3 years behind. Do you have any knowledge of that?
Well, okay, the question is about veterans, and I have to apologize, I'm probably older than you, and I don't hear quite as well as I should.
No, I'm 77. We're in the same bag.
Well, I don't want to tell you how old I am. I look younger than I am. The fact of the matter is I support veterans because my brother was a veteran, and my family has been filled with veterans, and I can appreciate even more so the fact that veterans have in a lot of cases put their lives in front at risk, and that we can't dismiss that as likely. We have to understand that they are, whether it's right or wrong, defending our country or the interest of our country as decided by Washington, D.C. And Washington, D.C. has been negligent in taking care of the veterans, and that is really unnecessary, uncalled for, and unethical. So I would support more hospitals, more aftercare, and a greater appreciation for the veterans who have served in the armed forces of the United States. I went to Linton Hall Military School in Bristol, Virginia. I spent 6 years in a military institution. Wasn't the best thing I ever did in my life because I was without family. I didn't really have a mother and father that was there. In 6 years of basically imprisonment in the military service, there was something that I endured, but because I was such a young man at that time, I didn't gain the full appreciation of what military can do, but I'm very familiar with it, and I graduated as captain of the Drum and Bugle Corps, and Drum and Bugle Corps, and there was over 300 kids in the school.
Thank you. Ms. Katie.
Good afternoon, Louis Baker.
Good afternoon, Ben.
Thank you for being here. Going back to your water initiative, Have you done any studies on the negative effects of fluoride in water? And if so, what have you done to, strategize a plan to eliminate it, if at all?
I haven't done studies on fluoride, okay? One of the issues that has been posed to me in going to the Las Vegas Water District is that I have not had the statistical information that they required from the hydrology of all of the culverts that come down to the road and intersect with it. And that's something for hydrologists to take care of. I am not a hydrologist. I present the solutions, but there are many things to creating the absolute ingredients for it, like hydrology, and that takes an expert. And as far as fluoride is concerned, I don't like it, but I haven't given enough thought and study on how to correct it. But there was an issue that came up, I guess, last night, and I agreed with 95% of it. There was 5% that I didn't agree with, and actually, I'm still studying the issue because I like to study the issues and not make an arbitrary decision. I'm not Nancy Pelosi who says, pass it and then we'll read it. No, I read it and then I decide whether I'm going to vote for or against it. I'm an independent, and American independent, and I am an independent for one reason. I don't want to be part of the political system. I want to be part of the cure for the political system, and I can tell you about how that's going to take place.
Thank you. Mr. Pearson. Epperson, sorry.
Mr. Baker, I tried doing, personally, just me, I couldn't find anything really on you. I tried researching you, things like that. Besides the water issue, because obviously we have a lot of questions about water. Yeah. When you were asked to introduce yourself, we know a lot about your granddaughter now. What kind of accomplishments do you have, and what makes you, why should we vote for you to be Senator of District 2? You said there's a lack of progress, you said there's a lot of problems. Can you get a little more deeper into that? Like, well, what are the problems and how do you plan on fixing them?
Well, some of the problems are the lack of groups and organizations to take action. You know, it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to have action, and it's another thing to have the results. I have the results.
Action with what?
Well, for example, we talked about the water. Okay, I have a plan.
Besides the water, can we stay away from the water for a second?
We have natural gas, we have electricity, we have 4 new lanes of transportation, we have high-speed transportation, and it's all included in one complete package that allows us to move forward with hundreds of thousands of jobs and opportunities for engineers, surveyors, construction crews, and everything else along the way, including new casinos and new development along the routes. The route is 3,000 miles long.
Okay, so how do you plan on creating jobs then? Like, what about these ways of transportation? What are you going to do?
What am I going to do about transportation? I've already done it. Okay, I have the only working model in the entire United States and maybe the world of high-speed transportation. Okay, none of these other quote-unquote Desert Express, for example, or magnetic levitation have working models. I have a working model, and it's been viewed by hundreds of people, including the commander from the Nellis Air Force Base. With respect to my historical significance, you want to call it that, I was the coordinator for the Las Vegas Junior Ski Club. I had the largest explorer post in the state of Nevada with 120 kids that we took them on ski trips to Mammoth and Brian Head and different places like that. I was an external director with the Las Vegas JCs. I've been the president of several Nevada Toastmaster organizations, Sunrise Toastmasters, High Noon Toastmasters, and some of those. I am also one of about 30 licensed solar contractors in the state of Nevada. There are other contractors who, by their having electric qualifications, are also able to install solar. But as solar contractors per se, there's a limited number of those people who can actually act independently to get that job. And I ran Energy Factors of Nevada. I've done that since about 1980 as a general contractor. I installed some of the first solar solar panels here in the state, and they were concentrated collectors, and it was with United Resources out of Phoenix, Arizona. We installed about 50 systems in Reno, and they were tracking systems, and they were basically done for heating hot water, because at that time photovoltaic wasn't practical, wasn't ready. But now it is, and there are several installations that we have done where they're 100% free of Nevada energy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Ackerson. Well, we finished the first round of questioning from all the panel members here. We actually have a little bit of time. If there's anyone in the audience that wants to ask a question, raise your hand. I don't see any. I don't see anybody interested. If any panel member has a follow-up that you want to ask, let me know. This is your time. Looks like Mr. Klesmer, you have a quick follow-up for the candidate.
You said that you're going to bring in jobs. How are you going to draw the companies to come in to create those jobs?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. Please be a little
You
clearer.
said that you want to bring in hundreds of thousands of jobs into the state. How do you propose to bring the companies into Nevada?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, first of all, Nevada is unique in that we have it's a free port of sorts, and we are able to bring those people in. In terms of what we will bring in terms of ASB, American Sunlight Bolt Expressway, we will be putting manufacturing, and most of that is going to be local control people who are from the area, and it's going to require, you have to remember that that system includes 3,000 miles of solar collectors on the roof, and that's how we collect the water, because we have a roof. It's 3,000 miles long and 68 feet wide. It creates a tremendous amount of power. That's going to require manufacturing and related jobs in terms of services and things like that, plumbers, electricians, you name it, the whole gamut, in addition to the fact that we're able to, because we have the basic necessities, transportation, water, and power, that you'll see growth along the route, because those are right there and available. And so when we bring companies in here, we have to be able to offer the right incentives, and I know that we do offer some, but it hasn't been done in a way that has been effective yet, and we need to change that. And I'm all for change.
Thank you, sir. Well, I think we have time for one more quick 30-second question and a 30-second answer.
Cool. I'd like to know, sir, what is one of your solutions to improving education and how we test here?
Oh, education is a key point with me, okay? And what I propose in the new educational system, and Common Core, as you may or may not know, is a situation that has existed in a few states. Now, this is the one question I have about that, is that there are certain things in there that I'm not quite sure I understand yet. I haven't been able to fully investigate and find out why so many people are against it. But I don't know whether it's because in Common Core it says English only, or whether there's some kind of racial overtones to it or something of that nature. I don't know. But in fact, the system that I have put together allows education to expand. It allows children to be educated, and it puts the emphasis on a cooperation of parents, schools, teachers, and students. And it's only going to work if we start to enforce certain rules and regulations, which I've outlined in the program that I'm submitting.
Thank you. Mr. Baker, thank you very much for attending today. This concludes the endorsement interview for Veterans in Politics International. Mr. Baker, Senate District Number 2. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity of being able to present this.